It's the Sports Wire, Saks and Massieh. It's the Sports Wire, Saks and Massieh. It's the Sports
Sunday
Wire.
edition of the Sports Wire with Saks, Massieh, and Cameron. What's going on?
We got a baby in the house.
Oh man, we got Cam
Excited.
doing his first live episode of the Sports Wire. Did he? I wouldn't say he's calling in, but he's right there. I don't know. I'm sure we're gonna hear him at some point.
Yeah, let's see if he'll say something. You want to say something, Cam, to the audience? No? I think he's just confused as to what's going on. He just woke up. We changed his diaper. I think he just took a dump after that. He has his hand on the mic. He's ready to talk. It looks like he's a natural. If we had some video of this, it would be perfect. But
I bet he's a natural, just like his dad over here.
yes, we are natural podcasts in our blood. Okay, Saks? Just from the 90s.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we haven't done a Sports Wire in a little bit. It's been a hectic life, I guess, for the two of us.
Yes, sir.
More for you now that
You have a wonderful life. You have, I mean, your biggest worry, I think, is cruiser. That's all you got, right? What else do you worry about in life?
I guess #blessed. You know, what could I say?
Yesterday was rough for you. Sushi. What sushi place to go to?
Oh man, I don't want to give him a bad name. I don't want to, throw him under the bus. But boy,
I think you have to. I think you have to save the world a trip to the bathroom.
When you're at a sushi place and you're thinking, man, oh man, I am getting so much bang for my buck. These sushi rolls are huge. It's cheap. Man, I could barely make it home. It was it was rough. It was real rough. Let's say that. I will not be going back.
All you can eat sushi?
It wasn't all you can eat, but I'm telling you, it was like $7-8 a roll, and the rolls came out and they were humongous.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You weren't you weren't at one point like, man, this is too good to be true.
I was kind of thinking in the back of my head, and then I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna put those thoughts in my head. So
that's good. Always be positive, especially when you're at a shifty sushi spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
I haven't had sushi in a while. I'm telling you, there's no good sushi in San Diego, and if there is, stick to it. Don't venture outside the box.
Yeah, I decided what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna stick to my go-to places. I'm not gonna be cheap. I'm gonna stick to the go-to places, and if it costs me $10-15 more, so be it.
I can't believe I heard you say that. That's awesome. Luckily, it's recorded.
Yeah.
That you want to spend more money.
I know. Well, my health is worth it.
Your health is your wealth, is what my mom would say. Grandma would say, "Health is your wealth, son."
Mm-hmm.
But that's not true, Mom, because wealth is your wealth. Okay.
Very true. How's mortgages and real estate treating you? Speaking of wealth,
a nightmare. I've never seen such a shift of epidemic proportions. I've never seen this. Even in 2008, there still wasn't a shift like this. I think it slowly happened, but I feel like maybe we just weren't paying attention, or maybe we were paying too much attention. But the shift is on, and we can't get a base hit these days. The nerds have ruined baseball.
I feel like every day when I get these alerts at price reduction, all of a sudden I'm seeing them on Redfin. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's price reduction central. The worst part is I have, in some instances, not all, I have one client who the seller doesn't even want to respond, and they have no other offers. They think they're going to get more than they bargained for. And then on the flip side, I have another client who is begging, not begging, the listing agent is begging for an offer. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, it's crazy out there, man.
And then one of my clients just got their offer accepted today with no counteroffer. So wow. This home has been listed for 90 days, and they offered $479, so 10 grand below list with a 10 grand credit, and they accepted it.
Wow.
Unbelievable. The buyer freaked out. He doesn't want to proceed. He's shocked.
Really?
Yeah, he does not want to proceed because they accepted on the first go around.
Huh. That's kind of weird. He thinks something's up.
He thinks something's up, and he needs his realtor Rami to step up.
Oh man, realtor Rami.
Yeah, horrible.
Oh man, I'm watching this Mets Phillies game. They're playing in like Williamsport, I think, or whatever. It's really weird.
Williamsport, isn't that like the World Series place?
Oh, Cameron just made his first appearance.
Debut. He's
on
watching
Sports
Sesame
Wire.
Street in the background.
Yeah, so I'm trying to watch this match. Weird. They're playing in like the Little League Stadium or something.
Yeah, that's awkward.
But Padres, another loss today.
Padres lost. Yeah, Padres. Are we the worst team yet? I haven't checked.
Let's pull up the standings here. I have to talk about the Padres a little bit. I've been watching fairly consistently all season long, and I have to say that they are a better team with Will Myers in the lineup. I will admit, Will Myers does make them a better team. When you think about their lineup, when you have Myers, who they have playing third base right now, I don't even know if you're aware of this.
Yeah, I saw that. I was very shocked that he's even agreed to that, but I guess he has no choice. He could have pulled a Kawhi Leonard and just said, hey, don't even play me. But, I mean, this guy has been – I think he needs to go, unfortunately, for his own good. What do you think?
I don't think there's another team that's really going to take the contract on Will Myers unless we throw in one of our prospects. But so you have Will Myers at third base, Eric Hosmer at first base, Freddie Galvis at shortstop. Second base right now is the weak link in the infield. You have Corey Spangenberg, Jose Perella. They should bring up their minor league prospect, Urias or whatever his name is, and just have him up in the big leagues to get some seasoning. So next year he's not new. So that he gets some major league experience under his belt, not just give him the 1 month from September or whatever. Bring him up now. There's nothing to lose. Get this guy's feet wet. Get him to learn the big leagues. Get him playing with Freddie out there. Get him playing with the guys. I think that it's I don't know. I just think that they should bring him up already to complete that infield. It's a lost season. If you look at it, the Padres are the fourth worst team in baseball. They're a game better than the White Sox.
I'll take fourth worst.
A game better than the White Sox, 9.5 games better than the Royals, and 10.5 games better than the Orioles.
What happened to the What happened to the Royals? They were a World Series champ like 3 seasons ago, right?
Yeah.
Man.
They got rid of Hosmer, Moustakas, Kane.
I like how you said that. I like how you said Moustakas. Say that again.
Moustakas.
Yeah, there we go. Cam, earmuffs.
So it's interesting to just see what the Padres are doing. Their outfield, they have a lot of outfield talent. They have, well, let me not get carried away. Let me not call it talent per se, but they do have a lot of options in the outfield. They have Hunter Renfroe, who's been playing consistently lately, had another home run today, drove in all 3 of the Padres RBIs today. I feel like with consistent play, Hunter Renfroe is the kind of guy who you're going to have to live with his 250 average, but you're going to get those home runs, those RBIs. He's going to hit some big runs there for you. So,
and he's got a solid glove. I've only seen one like real error on his part. A hell of an arm, but he plays some of the angles.
He's got a cannon.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a nice ball player. I like him. I think he's a good outfielder. He's a good corner outfielder for you. But for a team that has other parts, he can't be your top 3 hitter.
Yeah,
he's a nice addition in the lineup for you. He's not your cleanup hitter, I don't think. But when you think about it, if you have Will Myers, if you have Myers and Hosmer, another weak point for the Padres is Villanueva. Christian Villanueva. I'm sorry, but he's just not an everyday major league player. I don't even think he should be a bench player. He's not worth a roster spot, in my opinion. Cut
them all together.
Yeah, I think you got to let him go. It was a good experiment. The kid's got some pop, but he's too much of a liability. He's not a good fielding third baseman. He's not a good enough hitter to play consistently. So I don't think that he's worth a roster spot on a team in major leagues. He's a great AAA player. That's what he is. He really pans out to be a good AAA player, and that's it. But
are we a AAA baseball team?
we shouldn't be. We shouldn't be. What they're missing is starting pitching. They don't have any starting pitching, really. They let Tyson Ross go. They let Jordan Lyles go. They were claimed on waivers, and they didn't. They just let him go. Not that those guys are great pitchers, but they were good. I guess they're seeing what they have now in the minors with some of these guys, with Kennedy, with who I do like? I do like Joey Lucchesi. I think Joey Lucchesi, the left-hander, he pitched yesterday. I think the kid has a good arm. I think he's a really solid number 3 guy in a starting pitchers. But the Padres, man, they have that talent though. I'm a big fan of Jankowski. I like Margot, but they need one more. If you look at their outfield, you have a glut right now. You have Jankowski, you have Margot, you have Renfroe, you have Franmil Reyes.
But what's the solution? There's no solution.
There's too many similar players. Margot and Jankowski are similar. Franmil Reyes is kind of like a Hunter Renfroe. They're mediocre. That's what they are. The outfielders are mediocre. You have Margot and Jankowski who have speed, though. So I like those aspects. They're really good defensively. When they get on base, they can wreak havoc on the base paths. I love those kind of ball players. Those guys are ball players. I really like guys like Jankowski. I like guys like Margot. I'm not a fan of Franmil Reyes. Yeah, he can hit a monster shot here and there, but he doesn't put up the numbers elsewhere or play a good enough field for him to warrant a starting position.
I just don't. I mean, either way, I don't think the Padres have it in them to put together a team with this management. Management needs to go, and it needs to start with the coach. It needs to start with the front office. I don't even know who the owner is. Who's the owner of the Padres?
Isn't it Ron Fowler?
I think it was like a group, right? Last time I checked, there was a group of them.
Yeah, there's a couple guys, Ron Fowler and one other guy. I think Fowler is the majority owner. But I'm glad you bring up Andy Green. I believe this is the 2nd or 3rd season of Andy Green, and I'm not a fan. I think, and why I say that is because
did you know Mark McGuire's a coach on the Padres?
He is their hitting coach or bench coach or something, yeah.
That's awesome that no one talks about that. I think he's the next head coach.
He could be. The Padres and Andy Green. Andy Green, in my opinion, has to go, and there's a reason for that. The reason is that fundamentals. It's okay that a team is bad. It's okay that they're not hitting or what he can't necessarily control their hitting or stuff like that. But what he can control is that they go out there ready to play baseball. Is that they're out there, they're focused, they're prepared, they're in a position to win games. But there's too many mental errors. There's too much non-communication going on. And to me, that falls on the head coach. And that's why I think he's got to go.
I agree. I don't like his scheme. I don't like his maybe he's just a puppet and upper management's telling him what to do, but I just don't like the whole approach. I don't like his demeanor. I don't like his support for the players. I mean, the guy's gotten thrown out maybe twice in 3 years. There has to be way more blown calls than that, way more standing up for your team. The strategy is just not there. They're more analytical, right? I don't know if I like that, the A-style baseball.
And when you look at this stat, wins above replacement player, are you familiar at all with that stat there, Massieh?
I'm slightly familiar, but I'm guessing our fans have no effing clue what you just said.
So wins above replacement it's one of those sabermetric stats. It summarizes a player's total contributions to their team in one statistic. So it says how many wins are they worth over another player. So like if this player got injured and their team had to replace them with, another ball player, how much value would the team be losing? So guys like Mike Trout, Javi Baez, whatever, have a very high WAR percentage, which is win above replacement. Now, it's a crazy way that they get to calculating this. It's batting runs plus base running runs plus fielding runs plus positional adjustment plus league adjustment plus replacement wins divided by runs per win. It's a crazy. I lost you. I know. I lost everybody on that. But here's what I don't get the statistic because, yeah, a guy like Javi Baez is got wins over a replacement player. And I can tell you that they're going to be way better than you're better off starting them. I don't get the reason for it. Like, I can tell you without a statistic which players should be playing and which players should not be playing. Why much time, energy, and money is wasted on some of these statistics? I don't get it.
I think it's just a slight advantage. They just need every single advantage, whether it's a 0.01% of an advantage or not, to win these games. I think if you don't do this type of research with these type of equations, and you put in the wrong player, you just can't back manage. I think it's a business, right? Like when you're operating a business, your boss says, "Hey, Saks, show me the numbers for this quarter," and you can't prove anything, or you can't at least bullshit them, then you're screwed.
So it's kind of like baseball's gotten more to the point where it's like businesses now are running analytics where they're looking at numbers. They're looking at, your conversion, your rate, your return on investment, your this, your that. There's all these statistics and everything. So baseball in a way is doing that with their players. Their players are their data, the data on the players as opposed to data on sales and everything like that.
Exactly. But does that work? Does that equate to actual wins? I mean, let's look at the teams that have won the World Series the last couple of years. The Astros, right, last year, I think they played it right. They played it like a business, and they won.
But did the Astros – I feel like the Astros did it the old school way, though. The Astros did it with drafting players. And they had really bad seasons, but they drafted players, they acquired players.
And they groomed them, right? And then they went from there and they took the stats and put the best team out there.
But did the Astros go after players based on stats like this? That would be my question. I don't know. I can't
sit down and talk. Maybe next week we'll get them on the phone.
Maybe we can get who's a coach? AJ Hinch, I believe. We can get him.
I don't know why we can't. Okay, we're a nationally syndicated podcast.
Absolutely, we're streaming in about 3 people's homes every week.
Sports Wire. Hi, this is the Sports Wire. We'd like to get Andy Green on the call. Yeah, we just drilled him last week on the Sports Wire. We just want to get his take on the analytics. What would you say to Andy Green if you interviewed him right now?
Oh man. I would want to just talk to Andy about the big league club right now and all the shifting around of players. If what they kind of see in the future. There's so much talent supposedly in the Padres minor league system. It's consistently, all these publications out there. Baseball Gurus rank it as a number 1 system in the league. I agree, Cameron. Absolutely. And what does he see in the next year, 2 years with this team? You look at the outfielders, in my opinion, and we have a glut of outfielders. The ones we talked about, Jankowski, Margot, everything like that. But it's just like, where does it fit? I just don't see the puzzle coming together. I see pieces of the puzzle, but I don't see it coming together, and I'd love to know what the plan is. Is this a Obviously, the Padres think they're close. They really must think they're close if they go out and spend the money they did in Eric Hosmer. They have to internally think you're close unless you just pissed away hundreds of millions of dollars. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's shitty. But what's the solution? We still haven't given me a solution, bro.
Man, honestly, I think they have to stick with the plan. I think they have to be shitty another year. I don't like the signing of Eric Hosmer. I like Eric Hosmer as a ball player. I think he's a great piece for a ball club that's there, not a club that needs to get there. And the Padres aren't there yet. So spending the money they spent on Eric Hosmer, when they already spent $20 million a year on a guy like Will Myers, they just don't have that kind of money. The Padres are a team, in my opinion, that can't be built on bats. They're not going to sign the big free agents because of the market that they're in. What they have to do is build on pitching and spend their money on pitching and then use the draft and trades to acquire strong talent in the field. And I don't see that they've gone about it the right way. I feel like they've done part of that, but they haven't stuck to that plan. They've gone out, they've signed Hosmer, they've gone out, they've given a big contract to Will Myers. But they're going to be a club that's going to beat you by one run. I'm sorry. They're going to win 2-1 ball games, 3-2 ball games. They're in the National League. They're not going to, they're not an American League team who's looking to put up home runs, and they're going to win 10-8 ball games. They need to spend their money on pitching, have a number 1 and a number 2, or a 1 and a 1A, and really spend their money on pitching, and then acquire talent through the draft and trades on their fielding.
You make it sound
that would be my plan.
No, I think you just go after the big hitters, just like the Yankees do.
No way.
Let's spend some money. The National League is wide open.
When you say it's wide open, though, when you look at the National League West, the Dodgers are in third place. Third place. You have the Rockies and the Arizona Diamondbacks, who right now are sitting, in first place. Diamondbacks are a half game above the Rockies. How many games are we into the season? We're about 125 games into the season.
Oh, yeah.
So we got about 30 some odd games left. So you got about a month of baseball left.
The National League West is always cyclical, and we're always at the end of that cycle for some reason. So some seasons we're like the most dominant division there, and then some we're the worst. But the Padres usually get once. They're like the real estate market. Maybe once every 10 years we're in good shape.
Yeah, I think about when I first moved out here to San Diego, and they had Petco Park just open, and they had a few good ball teams when you look back on it, and they were in the running, even with a 500 record about. They were able to at least stay in the race through the year. They were able to keep it close. They were able to stay around 500. You had the Giles, Loretta, Nevin, Klesko, Jake Peavy, Chris Young, Sean Estes. You had Hoffman in the bullpen. You had Heath Bell in the bullpen. Akinori Atsuka in the bullpen. You had some decent teams. And you know what was it's not like these teams had great players on them. They didn't really have superstars. I wouldn't call Nevin, Klesko, Giles, Loretta, anything like that a superstar. They had great pitching, though. They had great pitching. You had a 7th inning guy. You had an 8th inning guy. You had a 9th inning guy. You had guys in the back of the bullpen who can hold on to those run leads or keep you at a tie game or a 1-run deficit to keep it close. And then they were able to come up with a hit here and there when they needed it. They played small ball. They played good baseball, and that's what this team is missing. It's missing the pitching staff. It's missing the ability to stay close. And when you have a pitching staff, and then you have guys like Hunter Renfroe who can hit the home run, or you have guys like Franmil Reyes who can hit a moonshot, those guys will help you in a run ball game because they can hit that home run. But they don't have the pitching to keep them close. They just don't have pitching. And that's what this team is missing. This team is missing starters that can go 7 innings, and then you can bring in 2 or 3 dominant pieces at the back end of the bullpen and win. And that's what you have to do as a small market franchise. You cannot win baseball games as the Padres by taking money and throwing it at guys like Will Myers and Eric Hosmer. It's not going to work. You're not the Yankees. You'll never be the Yankees, so you can't think like that. Good talk. But you look around baseball right now, and the Cubs are leading the Central. They are 3.5 games up on the Brewers, 4 games up on the Cardinals. The Braves and the Phillies tied for the best record in the East. The Nationals, 7 games back. That has to be one of my biggest surprises of the season is the Washington Nationals. 1 game below 500 right now. What's going to happen with them? You would think their coach has to be in the hot seat. A disappointing season for the Nationals. Bryce Harper in a free agent year. Most likely you'd think he's going to leave the Nationals. I read something last week saying maybe he goes to the Phillies. And you know what? Man, Phillies have some good young talent there, up-and-coming ball club. It wouldn't be a bad thing for Harper to go to the Phillies, become the face of a franchise like that. Philadelphia is a baseball city. Chase Utley, Jim Thome, who was recently inducted into a Hall of Fame. Good fan base out there. It's a nice ballpark for a guy like Bryce Harper to play in every day. The Braves are a good team, so you'd think that the Phillies and Braves would be competing for division championships year after year. The Mets aren't there. The Nationals aren't there. The Marlins aren't there. Mets have that talent in the pitching rotation, but they can't seem to put anything around it. Speaking of coaches on the hot seat, I would think that the Mets coach is on the hot seat as well. With the disappointing season the Mets have had, got out to a really hot start. The Mets were one of the hottest teams in all of baseball to start the season, about the first month, and then they just collapsed. Injuries, questionable play by them. They're 14 and a half games out of first place. They're about, 13 games below 500. And you look at the players that they have, and they have just been underwhelming, except their pitching staff. When you have your leader on the batting side is Asdrubal Cabrera, who leads your team with a 277 batting average, 18 home runs, and 58 runs batted in for the New York Mets, we're not talking about the Padres here. Padres are a shitty franchise. They're a team that's a small market. The Mets cannot be a shitty franchise in the market of New York. Jacob deGrom, 8 wins. 8 wins, but the kid's got a 1.71 ERA with 204 strikeouts. They need to move deGrom. They need to move maybe Syndergaard and really maybe hit the reset button a little bit on some things there in New York. But it'll be interesting. It's going to be an interesting offseason. It'll be a very interesting offseason to see what goes on. The Yankees, the Red Sox dominating the American League.
Dominating baseball. Look, they're sitting at the top. I mean, the National League's not even close. I guess the Cubs are getting there, but the Red Sox and Yankees spending that money are top of baseball. I know our picks at the beginning of the year were the Yankees, right? Yankees or Astros, and I think that holds true unless the Sox can squeak out a victory in a 7-game series against the Yankees.
The Red Sox are 51 games above 500. 51 games.
Are they the only team that hit 100 wins this year? It doesn't look like.
They're 88 and 37 right now. They're going to hit 100 wins. The Yankees will probably get close to 100, hit 100 wins. The Astros can hit 100 wins. I would think that those 3 teams are the ones that can hit. The Red Sox will definitely hit 100. They're going for, who knows how many wins. But one of the most dominating seasons I can remember in baseball is this season by the Red Sox. Just incredible. 216 run differential, which is crazy. When you think about the run differential, 216. The only
I just feel like it's a bad year in baseball altogether.
How about, and let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about the Oakland Athletics and what they've done. What a tear this team has been on. 1 game behind the Astros. Sleeve is just shitting himself with excitement from this run that the Athletics have been on. When you look at the wild card standings, if the season ended today, American League, Boston, Cleveland, and Houston would make it to the playoffs. The Yankees would be wild card number 1. Wild card number 2 would be the Athletics. So the Yankees would have to face the A's in a 1-game playoff in order to get to what's called the second round, which is crazy. A team like the Yankees, which would be the second best team in baseball, would have to do a 1-game playoff in order to advance.
Yeah.
Then you look at the National League.
That's a 50-50 chance. Any given day, any given game, you could just lose that game.
It's a tough game. And then you look now in the National League, and you have the Phillies and Braves who are tied. Braves have the advantage, so it would be the Braves, the Cubs, the Diamondbacks, and then the Phillies would face, you'd have the Brewers. Oh, man, look at this. You have the Phillies, the Brewers, the Cardinals, and the Rockies, all the same amount of wins, really. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be a nice end of the season. There's gonna be a lot of upset fans in a lot of cities there in the National League because there's a lot of teams
and
fighting
football
for that.
too. I think there's gonna be a lot of disappointed football fans and baseball fans and NBA fans have shifted a little bit. So we'll see what the NBA is like. But in a nutshell, I think this could be the worst baseball year. I've seen in a long time. The Padres suck. The Yankees and Red Sox are sitting atop Major League Baseball. There's very few teams who are really above 500. At least we don't have a 100-game loser yet, do we? Or no, I haven't looked.
Not at the moment, but I would say that
I think we're going to get close.
the Baltimore Orioles and the Kansas City Royals will probably hit 100 losses.
Ugh.
They have 87 and 86 respectively.
You should just die at that point. If you're a coach, just resign, right? If you lose 100 games.
You would think Buck Showalter might be the last season for him in Baltimore. It's been a trying year for the Orioles, but man, oh man, it would be. I'm just saying, it would be fun to have a team that's at least 500 right now.
Yeah. Let's shift gears because Cameron's getting grumpy. What do you want to talk about? NFL?
I want to talk a little about NFL, and I know that it's kind of preseason started. 2 weeks into the preseason, but for me, I haven't had any excitement personally. Is it because we don't have a team anymore?
No team. Donald Trump's kind of dominated the NFL.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, there's just no clear-cut fan favorite, right? There's nothing exciting about any team right now. Who's our pick to win the Super Bowl? The Eagles again? I mean, I don't think so, but you never know.
Honestly, I have no clue. I did just read up that the Chargers of Los Angeles plays Jalen Watkins on injured reserve Sunday, ending a season. He tore his ACL, it looks like, yesterday in the first half.
What team was this?
The Los Angeles Chargers.
Oh, never heard of him. That's fine.
He is the third player on the Chargers to tear his ACL this offseason.
Yep. I wonder why. I wonder
Hunter Henry, tight end Austin Roberts, and then Jason Verrett for the third straight year out for the season, Achilles tendon injury. So a lot of injuries there for the Chargers.
Awesome.
But I don't know. Do I root for the Chargers? Do I not root for the Chargers? I don't know what to think. I really don't.
You're not really to go to a game. Have I asked you to a game? I want to check it out at least. We go up there.
No, I have zero. I will not. Nope, definitely not.
I don't like football games in general. I had season tickets, and it was like the worst experience ever. There's some crazy fans there.
Yeah, I'd much rather watch football on TV. Not even an iota of interest for me in going to an NFL game.
What's an
iota? Iota. It's a tiny bit, a little teeny weeny bit.
What does this mean? Is this one of your Jewish words you use from New York?
No, I don't think this is a Jewish word. I think that this is just
It's American. This is American word.
Yes, it's a normal American word there,
How
Sasha.
do you spell this word, Saks?
Iota. I-O.
Hey, you're not allowed to say iota if you cannot spell it. No rule.
D-A.
You Googled it. It's over. You Googled it.
Iota. I don't know. I don't even know if that's right. Maybe it's IOTTA. I'm not really sure.
All right. I don't even know what we were talking about. Oh, you didn't want to go to a game. There's no iota of you.
No game. I don't want to go. I want to sit at home. I want to sit on my couch.
Padres?
I want to be able to flip back and forth. Yeah, I enjoy the Padre games. They're fun.
We got to take Eric to a game. Eric, we got to utilize his season tickets too.
Yeah, he's got nice tickets, man. I went to.
He said only Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, or something like. What kind of?
Yeah, he's split it with somebody, and he's got some days that he has access. I don't know, but I did go one game to using his tickets. Great seats. I went with our boy Tim, who we lost. I don't know how long we've been recording, but subtract 5 minutes from that, and that's how long ago we lost him.
Tim Talsma?
Tim Talsma, 5-minute guy.
Wow.
That's it. He only listens to 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's all he's good for. We'll take it. Counts as a listen.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right, so no Charger football. I'm not excited about the NFL. I think I'm more excited about Donald's tweets than I am the actual football season.
I don't get the whole thing, and I don't want to sound political, But I just don't get the whole thing of people not wanting to watch football because of the way that
Well,
it's
they're
been handled.
influenced by Donald. I mean, I think you watch football for the game, right? You don't not watch football because of the politics. That's like not
Right.
watching Wheel of Fortune because Pat
Because Pat
Sajak
Sajak.
didn't vote for Donald. So it's all politics. I think people will still watch football. I think the fan base is decreasing due to the lack of actual football being played and the lack of competitive football that we're watching. It's just not fun anymore, if that makes sense.
I get it. I feel like there's definitely been a difference, and I think that there's several reasons for it. One of them is the politics that have kind of gotten into the game, how it's kind of merged into the game of football. I have the commissioner of my fantasy football league going on 16 years or 17 years, not going to partake anymore this year because he's not going to watch football. And personally, I don't get it.
Wow.
I don't
Shocking.
think that you stop watching football because the stance that the NFL has taken on certain subjects, or they're not telling. I don't honestly. I don't really get the whole thing, to be honest. I don't want to sound
I'm not
naive
watching
about it.
football because I hate that the Chargers left. There's no sense of me supporting. I poured a lot of years into the Chargers. We both did, and they're now gone, and we don't have a football team. I'm not going to root for a different city to win. That makes no sense. Even though I root for the Lakers, but we just don't have an NBA team, right? But
Yeah,
the NFL is just a turnoff to me.
I agree. I lost my passion for the NFL. Definitely went down tremendously when the Chargers left San Diego. It's really hard. I don't know if it's different if you never had a team than it is to lose a team. Because when you had a team and you're rooting for them and that was your team, for them to just leave like the way that the Chargers did, it puts a bad taste in your mouth. When you don't have a team at all, you've probably already adopted another team because it's a city close to you. It's a team your family rooted for, something like that. I think it's different. And it's just a totally different feeling I have about NFL. I just don't have the same passion. I'm going to partake in 2 fantasy football leagues. I do a work one and I do one with my buddies who I grew up with. But it's there's something missing. And then you look at the viewership, and definitely viewership has gone down because of the politics that have creeped into the game of football. But also, I think a lot of it as well has to do with the rules changing. You can't keep track anymore of kind of what's going on. These hits to the head, the protecting of the quarterbacks, no low hits, having to pull up on a defenseless receiver. And I'm not saying you should play dirty, but that's football, man. Football is going after somebody. How can you stop playing if you don't know if it's going to be caught or not? You got to go for it. And it's definitely a different game to watch today than it was 5, 6, 7 years ago. And I think that that's also taken an effect on the game. The punts, you can't the kickoffs to start the game. They're now at the 35, so you don't have that run back. You don't have those Devin Hester like plays anymore. It's just different. And I think it's lost some viewers also from that. What's your take on that aspect of it?
I think the rule, it's just getting out of hand. It's not even football. I think I watched one play where the guy just made a simple tackle and the ref threw the flag, said he was defenseless, but really he made a football move. If he doesn't make that tackle, the guy goes on to score 6. So it's a shame that football's gone this direction. But I get it. People get hurt. And there's all these politics. All right,
absolutely.
I'm getting fussy.
All right. Well, I think we're going to do another Sports Wire later this week. We'll do another episode, and I think we got to kind of keep at it. I think we had some really good conversations, some talk about baseball. We've gotten into the NFL side of things. There's definitely a lot more to talk about. We have some NBA. We haven't even touched base on that. NHL right around the corner as well. But Massieh, Cam, thanks for joining me on the Sunday edition of the Sports Wire. We'll chat with you next week.
Maybe we'll get Tim to listen.
Maybe we can get at least 5 minutes from Talsma. We'll see.
We'll pay him $1 a minute.
I'm down to just put down $2.50. I'll split it with you.
All right, deal. All right, guys.
All right.
Peace.
Laters.